Good afternoon, big dogs. This is the Talk with the Top podcast, a platform that allows our unit leaders to provide insight and mentorship through their shared perspectives, both personally and professionally. I am your Rising Six President, Technical Sergeant Aaron Williams, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with the Material Management Flight Superintendent, Chief Master Sergeant Edwin Lopez. Chief, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, sir. Chief, when we had the idea of putting this podcast together, our mindset was creating a platform that could bridge the generational gap with how the newer generation thinks and how they take in information, and being able to bridge that with providing that insight from our senior leaders and kind of just tailoring a platform that can kind of just match that. What do you believe a platform like this does to not just your young leaders, but also your brand new airmen who are brand new to the squadron and have no idea what the Air Force is about?
So first of all, appreciate the opportunity to come share some insight with you all. I think this is a great idea to share perspective, insight on lessons learned, experiences, and career paths, especially that you're recording it because most folks are working shift. We have folks at POL working 12s, DMS, amongst some of the teams across the LRS. So this is great for sharing those types of things.
Okay. So I see that your career kind of goes back a little far. You enlisted back in year 2000. So people talk about their why. What brings them to the job every day? What allows them to, obviously we take an oath that we got to do the job. What brings them to do it at the level that they have to do it? So with you joining back in 2000, obviously the missions changed a lot. So with that perspective, what was your reason for joining the military? And ultimately, with the changes you dealt with, what keeps the fire going?
Very early on, my why was my daughter. She's still part of my why today. As I continued and progressed throughout the ranks and throughout my assignments, my why turned into my mom. And the reason that the why is my mom is I reflect on my childhood early on, and my mom was a single mom. She did a lot of things in order for us to progress in life. And as I've progressed in my career, I've brought her to my promotion ceremonies. She's the reason that I continue on this journey. I've shared stories with her. I talk a lot with her and share my successes. And I fly her to all the locations that I've been. What fills me, or what fills my cup, is taking care of people. Whether through evaluations, awards, decorations, being able to pay it forward and give back. That's what fuels me right now. I love leading by example and doing the right things and setting the stage for people's success.
Did you have a mentor or somebody like specific that kind of motivated you? You said, I want to be similar to that guy. Or was there experience that you went through that kind of drove you to kind of want to keep pursuing the next tier or the next accomplishment or the next thing you had going on?
Yeah, I've had multiple mentors throughout my career. English is my second language, and as I've progressed, I've always looked for people, or I've always connected with folks where I thought that they had either traits or attributes or characteristics that I wanted to improve in myself. And I built relationships with those folks, and throughout my career, they have been my mentors. If I can go back in time and name two folks, it would be First Sergeant Mitchell and Colonel Palmieri. Sergeant Mitchell always told me that no one was going to invest in me more than I invested in myself. Colonel Palmieri gave me a platform to be successful. I was a material controller in his organization, his communications squadron. And he allowed me to be his additional duty first sergeant, and he always challenged me and gave me opportunities to be successful. So my first quarterly award winning at the wing was because of the opportunities he gave me. I won my first annual award at the 12th Air Force level because of him, his mentorship, and first sergeant. On those wins, I kept building on those wins, and they've brought me here.
You hear about a lot of chiefs talking about like the ups and downs they go through. I know when I first came in, it was like a thing for a chief to kind of tell you about, a story that they did something stupid. And usually those stories help kind of guide the airmen, who, sometimes it's a good airman, but you got to put them back on track. Did you have an aha moment? Was there a moment in your career where you was like, whew?
I've had a lot of aha moments, and we all will. We're human. We're gonna make mistakes. One thing that I learned early on in Tampa from a good chief was you have to look at people's intent. Was it malicious or was it something out of their control? And is there a pattern of negative trends? So historically, folks will either show you that they're on a bad path through negative trends, or if they've made one mistake and they can bounce back and recover. I've made a lot of one-time mistakes. I've never made repetitive mistakes. I love to learn from the things that I do, whether right or wrong, and then share those so other folks can be successful as well.
What would you say your approach to leadership is? Like, you come into a new squadron, and we'll get to how this is your second, run here at Kadena. But when you come into a new squadron, how do you approach with your style based on the things that you've learned, and how do you tailor it to whatever organization you're a part of?
Relationships matter. The way that you treat folks, the way that you talk to folks, the way that you interact with folks, those things matters. Relationships matter. You could negatively influence someone or positively influence them based off your interactions. So I try to read the room and try to act in a manner that is a positive way in order to move the organization.
Okay. From an airman perspective, kind of changing gears a little bit, I remember a couple years where the focus, we always talked about the whole airman concept, but when it actually was something that was like documented and we put it on our EPRs as far as making sure that our airmen were hitting all the points as far as the full airman, the whole airman concept. And I was reading your introductory slide, and I saw that was something that was kind of important to you, or it was really important to you, as a matter of fact, in regards to airmen being able to uphold the whole airman concept.
Yeah, whole airman concept is important. It's in the Brown Book. How we move and navigate in the Air Force and our successes, like all that's codified in the Brown Book. To me, whole airman concept is important because it builds character, it builds who you are, right? Like, not just leading inside of your organization, but also leading up and out. And when you're leading up and out with these private orgs or projects for the wing, like, you're building relationships across the wings. You never know when you're gonna need someone or some agency. If you have a connection or you meet someone, that person might be the person that your airman might need help with. So the whole airman concept is just deeper than volunteering. To me, it's back to what I was telling you earlier, like, relationships are extremely important.
Kind of moving forward into, I looked at you had a couple of interesting things. One thing on your slide, your introductory slide, that I actually didn't even know what the saying or quote or whatever it was actually meant. It just said team of teams.
Yeah.
And so what actually is team of teams?
Team of teams is a real simple concept, and it's relationship building. And collaborations and working together of teams, in teams. So General McChrystal, General retired now, General McChrystal wrote a book of teams, a book on teams of teams. And it's a concept, the best way that I can explain it is, you have the SEL and the commander, they're a team. You bring the first sergeant, and now they're a team, they're a triad. You bring the deputy, Mr. Sellers, and you bring the DO, and they're the command team, right? Those teams, there's small teams in that team, lead the flight chiefs and the flight commanders, right? And those are teams. You have the seniors who also formulate a team, or should be a team. If the organization is breeding teams of teams, then that will trickle down and ultimately create a good environment for the biggest nomenclature that matters, and it's airmen, capital A airmen. So if the command team gets the team of team concept correct, then you foster a good environment for people to thrive in.
As a leader, what do you think are some of the qualities that were in a leader back, you think, post 9/11, 2012, 2003, versus now, where I don't want to say we're a little more demanding, it's just different.
So uniform standards, dress and appearance standards, grooming standards, all the building blocks to ensure that we are successful are coming back. I'm a fan of it. I like looking in a professional manner. Appearance matter, right? Because when you walk in the room and you see someone that's squared away, you're like, that person's squared away. I know that I can rely on a person. Take care of the simple stuff. And then like physical fitness during the GWAT era was extremely important, right? Because physical fitness is tied to readiness. If you're able to take care of yourself and you're in top-notch physique, right? Or if you have your performance level is high, then when you're faced with challenging situations downrange, we know that you're gonna be ready to execute whatever needs to be taken care of. I think we're headed back on the right direction, and it's gonna take time, but we're gonna be ready for the next whatever happens in the near future.
Going into the changes, obviously there's ongoing changes all the time. How's the expectation of the leader changed?
The expectations never changed of a leader.
Okay.
I believe that leaders haven't measured up.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your second time here in Kadena.
Oh yeah.
And you stayed in the PACAP area. And so you went to Korea for a year, and then you came back.
Came back.
What are the biggest differences you see in our unit then, your experiences in Korea, and then now coming back that you see?
Positive, right? Like the organization has evolved in a positive way. There's a lot more involvement in the airmen. The airmen take ownership in the organization. So the Big Dog Council, the Rising Six, the Top Three, we have a lot of folks invested in developing our airmen, but also creating opportunities for people to enjoy their time in Okinawa. We had some of those opportunities. It wasn't deliberate as it is now, which is good because this is a very high-paced wing, and people could burn out. So I'm grateful that y'all are doing all those things. In addition to y'all doing those things, like I do those types of things in the flight too, but it's more flight-centric. I like that the airmen also have an opportunity to experience and build relationships across the squadron. Airmen taking ownership and creating opportunities and professional development. Instead of waiting for someone to do it, like y'all are out there doing it. And I get emails all the time like, oh man, I'm doing something again. And then it's like the same email 3 times, like, oh, okay. But it's good. I like it. It doesn't bother me. I enjoy that y'all are doing those things for the airmen. The reward is, the happiness of the airmen.
Oh, absolutely. So going into our squadron, some questions in regards to our organization specifically. Obviously, unfortunately, there's been an uptick in the amount of DUIs that we've received. And without going into like the numbers or anything like that, I want to say at our last all call, we actually took an approach with small group discussions and in efforts to figure out strategies to mitigate the amount of DUIs we're getting, right? So from your perspective, what do you think is the best approach towards an issue such as the DUIs we're getting? And do you feel like we're going towards that direction in regards to the approach we should be taking?
I think historically, we haven't focused on the right things. A healthier way of coping with.
Did I hear that right, Chief? Are you talking about healthy Kobe habits? Well, do I have the thing for you. The Rising Six, May 1st, one and only, from 1400 to 1500, we will have games. True North, Chaplains, and our very own ADAP champions. Do you think you could beat them in the drunk goggle obstacle course? Doubt it.
I have $5 I'm willing to give away if anyone knows what this is. Miss, do you know what this is? You know what it is?
What is it?
Can you?
No.
You don't know what it is? No? God! For $5. Do you know what this is? Do you know what it is?
An iPad?
No!
I don't know.
God! Oh, excuse me, miss. Do you know what this is?
I don't.
No, he doesn't know what it is. For $5, do you know what this is?
No.
You don't. Excuse me, sir. For $5, do you know what this is?
Oh, it's Clash Royale.
Thank you! Download Clash Royale now. It's free.
Problems or life period should never be drinking. If the Air Force holistically focused on readiness and physical fitness like it once did, people were focused on that versus coping through drinking, coping through binging movies or video games, right? Like if we could reshift the focus and emphasize how important your body is in reference to health, readiness, and just taking care of the mission, I think that'd be a positive way to change how our airmen see and think.
But why do you think it is like that here in this area, or when a young airman gets over here, why is that something you think they kind of go into the direction of versus, your fitness or your video games or your hobbies, your hiking? Why is drinking like maybe the first thing that attracts someone who may have never been outside their comfort zone, such as this?
That's a hard one to answer because each situation is different for every airman. And I haven't sat down with all the airmen that had a DUI or ARI, right? There's resources. We have a plethora of resources within the organization and within the wing to get help. I just believe like physical fitness and nutrition is not talked about as much as we used to. As I was growing up, right? Like PT was part of the day. We talked about fitness failures constantly. We talked about like the FIT program, the fitness improvement program, constantly. Those are things that we don't talk about, that we shy away from. And it's important to have these hard conversations because our airmen matter, right? And their health matter.
Yeah.
But if the leaders of not just this, I'm not saying this organization, because we are starting to have those conversations, but if the leaders of it and organization are not having those conversations, then why should it matter to the airmen?
Yeah.
Right?
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So going into some other things that has been kind of highlighted here lately, not just organization, it's kind of big Air Force in regards to emphasis on family days. I know from a frontline supervisor perspective, the thing you can give back to airmen, the thing they value most is their time.
Yeah.
So something as such as family days is essential, is kind of, I don't want to say vital, but it's just one of those incentives that you have to where you can help motivate the airmen with, getting to that point or getting to that additional day they may have received. What do you think, for one, what do you think the importance of a family day does for not just the young airmen, for anyone in the Air Force, or even anyone DOD-wide, but specifically Air Force? What do you think something like a family day does, and how do you think us decreasing the amount of family days potentially, how does that work to a benefit for us?
Yeah. Well, no, the acting secretary is the one that signed the memo, right? It didn't say that they were going away. It said take a look and reassess at the lethality, right, of the organization or as the Air Force as a whole. really what that means is readiness,
Okay.
right? We're talking about readiness. Are we ready for a conflict tomorrow, right? And if we're not, then maybe we shouldn't be taking so many days off. I was filling in at the group at the squadron recently, and I sat at the wing staff meeting, and General Evans mentioned that he's not looking to change anything. One, because Kadena is already at a high ops tempo constantly, right? We have airmen working nights, weekends, 4-day weekends, and our people need time to recover and reset. Our airmen deserve time to, as you mentioned, to spend time with their families. I don't believe that there's going to be drastic change. There might be change in the future. The family days really come from a soft mentality of recovery and rest. While I was at JSOC, we had 4-day weekends every month, and they weren't called family days. It was just called training days. But some months we had 2 4-day weekends. We had so many 4-day weekends that sometimes I wouldn't even take leave because we were at work, we were grinding, then we had a 4-day weekend and then back at it. I don't foresee any change anytime soon. That memo was just do a review. It didn't say that it was gonna take family days off for certain. And the MAGCOMs haven't said anything in reference to that memo yet.
I'll let you go on this one. I just want to ask you one last question. If Chief Master Sergeant Lopez is talking to Airman Lopez, or even, let's go back to Trainee Lopez, what's the best piece of advice he gives him? And does he listen?
Probably won't listen. More than likely won't listen. None of us listen, right? At that age, we think that we know all the things. I would tell Trainee Lopez to lock in. Don't get complacent. There was a time in my career where I got complacent, and then enjoy the ride, right? Like it's been great. Going on 25 years. I'm absolutely gonna do 5 more years. I enjoy all of it, like the work, the meetings, the conversations, the evals, the awards, the decorations. But once like I take the uniform off, I was having this conversation with the NCOA class today. Like I'm not doing anything. When I'm retired, I'm retired. I have a little hut on a beach somewhere, a hammock outside. I'm gonna drink coconut water. I'm gonna watch the sunrise and watch the sunset and go on morning runs on the beach. That's it. Y'all ain't gonna find me. Well, y'all probably find me, but I ain't gonna be doing nothing. I ain't working for the government. I ain't working unless I need to. But yeah, it's been a great ride.
Yes, sir. There you have it, Chief Master Sergeant Lopez. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.